Hello, welcome back to my channel. If you did not see my community post, the thumbnail on this video probably had you shook because there was a Weight Watchers logo and you're probably thinking, Amber, I thought you stopped Weight Watchers. And you know what? I did. And now I'm going back. Let's talk it through. First off, when I stopped Weight Watchers, the last 2 months I was on Weight Watchers, I did not lose any weight at all. And that was a part of my decision to stop doing Weight Watchers. There were two main things at the time that I was conscious of that could be the culprit. There was a new plan. It went from personal points plan, which I actually really liked. I know other people didn't, but I liked it, to the new plan. I don't even know what it's called, which is a lot like the old freestyle plan. Back in the day, basically the same thing happened. I loved the plan and then they changed it to the freestyle plan and I didn't like it as much. So I already had some bad vibes with the freestyle plan. So that plan changed. So that was one of the things. I was also lifting weights and thinking I probably needed quite a bit more calories than what I was eating. So that was kind of the main reasons. Now, about 6 weeks ago, my husband and I were talking and we kind of made another connection too that I just completely didn't even think of at the time, which is I also started birth control. I started birth control towards the middle of October because I had been off of it. Immediately stopped losing weight. So I'm thinking birth control actually might have been, I'm thinking it was probably a little bit of new program, a little bit of me lifting weights, and a lot of it of birth control. And it's probably just, it was a lot for my body. And it kind of just was we're just gonna stay here for now. We're gonna plateau. But I think birth control hopefully was the main culprit because once we kind of made that connection because I was so frustrated. It was right before Mexico. I'm I've done all these things. Weight Watchers stopped working, counting calories, counting macros. All these things are not working. I don't understand why. And he's like, you haven't lost weight since you started birth control, Amber. Duh. Oh, didn't realize that. And now I'm pissed. So I got off birth control right before going to Mexico. But since coming back from Mexico, y'all, I've gained about 15 pounds. I'll put it here on the screen, 17.7 pounds or whatever since leaving Weight Watchers. Do you know how long it took me to lose that 17 pounds? I was shook. The other day I put on a pair of shorts that in Mexico they were loose. Yesterday they were so tight I changed. And that was okay, I have to stop this now. If I don't stop this cycle now, I'm gonna gain all the weight back plus some, and that is not happening. I did not work my butt off for a whole year plus to just gain it all back. When I think back on my life, I've tried macros, I've tried counting calories, I've tried lots of things. The only thing that actually consistently helps me lose weight is Weight Watchers. Do I still think it's too low in calories? I think yes, for most people, I still think it's too low in calories. I do have a workaround for that I'm hoping is gonna work. So we'll keep talking about it, but we're gonna move on for now. I cannot just not track my food and eat healthy. That's what I've been doing the last month. I eat dessert maybe once a week. We either go to snow cones or get ice cream. Right now during the summer while my daughter's off, but all the rest of the week, unless I'm having a binge episode, I'm eating healthy. But it's not enough. I've gained most of the weight this last month. I've gained 10 of the pounds this last month, which is just me not tracking, but not eating bad. I did have a little bit more alcohol this last month too, because we went out of town and stuff. So that's not an option. Me not tracking is not an option. But me tracking calories and macros is also not an option because for some reason, I cannot track calories and macros without having a binging episode. I don't know if it's a mental scarcity thing or the fact that you have to track every single thing you eat. I don't know what it is about tracking calories and macros, but mentally I cannot handle it. I have binges every single time. I've tried over the last month to restart tracking a few times. Every single time lends to binge eating. So that's also not an option. So I need to be able to track food, but I don't need to track calories and macros. The only other thing I can think of is going back to Weight Watchers, which has helped me lose weight consistently. So like I said, I do think it is a little too low in calories. And I think fat gets tracked a little heavy, in my opinion, on points. So for me and my body, I have decided to do a couple things. I've actually been talking to my sister too. We both have PCOS, polycystic ovarian syndrome. We both have insulin resistance, meaning we need fat in our diet to help control our insulin levels. For me, I don't like fat-free cottage cheese. I don't like the kind of like plain Greek yogurt that were 0 points. That's another thing. So like the 0 points stuff switched over to stuff I didn't like. I was really unsatisfied with the food there at the end too, because everything was so low fat and just not very tasty. So I'm going to track 2% cottage cheese like it's the 0 point cottage cheese. So it's only 20 calories more per serving, which is what I plan to have is 1 serving. I don't see a need to count that for 2 points when everyone else gets it for free. It's only 20 calories more. I need the fat to help. We also know through studies recently that dairy fat is actually good for you. So I'm going to track full fat cheese like it's reduced fat. I'm not going to track it like it's fat free, like they're, because that's a bigger calorie difference. But just tracking it like it's reduced fat, it's only a handful of calories, but it'll help me get more calories. It'll also help me feel more satisfied with my food. So dairy products, I'm going to track like they are reduced fat, even though I'm using full fat. Butter, I'm going to track like it's olive oil. I use butter here and there. It's not something I'll use, mainly if I'm using butter, it's for a HelloFresh recipe, but the majority of the time I'm using avocado oil. But if you actually look at a tablespoon of butter and a tablespoon of olive oil, I do understand that olive oil is the healthier choice, and that's why they're trying to push you to olive oil. Sometimes you just need butter to thicken up a sauce or something. But butter actually has slightly less calories and like 2 grams less of fat. I understand some of that fat is saturated, but we're still learning about saturated fats. Saturated fats isn't like the devil that it used to be thought of. So I'm gonna track them the same, even though it should be 2 points more for the butter. That's just what I'm gonna do to help me out. I don't track the fruit in smoothies just because I'm blending it. Smoothies are satisfying to me. I don't just eat them with fruit. I put protein powders and stuff in them. So they are satisfying to me, like they are a good snack. So I'm not gonna count fruit in that. I think that's the main changes I'm gonna make, is really just where it concerns fat. So, and those changes are of course assuming I'm losing weight. If I'm losing weight doing that, I think I still will, because I still think my calories will still be significantly less than they are now. I'm gonna keep doing it. If I start stalling or whatever, then I have a place to go. I have a place to lower down. Maybe I switch to reduced fat instead of fat-free cheese and, count it like it's reduced fat. We have places to go from there, but that's all barring the fact that I actually lose weight. Okay, ignore the extra shine on my face. My sister called during her lunch break so we could go for a walk. And it's hot out there. It's hot. So we're a little more shiny, but we're gonna go with it. At the moment, I'm also not working out because my work is pretty active. My job is a lot more active. I'm picking up stuff that's 20 to 50 pounds. I'm on my feet all day, taking a lot of steps. So my body's sore enough right now just with working. So I don't have any intentions on working out at the moment other than walking. Like tonight is my first day off that my feet aren't dying. So my sister and I are gonna go for a walk this evening. My husband works late, so we're gonna have a little sister time on the phone. She lives like 5 hours away from me, so we just call each other and go for a walk at the same time. So really walking and work are my only forms of activity, At this point, I need the weight off more than I need to build muscle. Like that's where I am mentally. Like I'm uncomfortable, I'm bloated, my clothes don't fit. I need the weight off more than I need to gain muscle. Once I get around my goal, definitely lifting weights and stuff is definitely a priority. I had a really sweet woman actually. It was really weird coincidence how it all worked out. She sent me a message on Instagram on Thursday, but if I'm not friends with you on Instagram, a lot of times it goes to like this weird separate file and it doesn't alert me that I have a message. So I just go in there from time to time to clear out. Normally it's like random, we'd love to work with you, sell this jewelry, stupid stuff like that. But it's actually a woman who used to watch my YouTube. She stopped watching me when I got off of Weight Watchers, and she was basically just asking if I'd come back to Weight Watchers. She missed my content. And it was really weird because the day I opened that message is the day I had already signed up for Weight Watchers. I just thought that was like a really weird coincidence. I also saw that Amanda Lewis I like her. I haven't had time to watch her in a while, but I just saw a thumbnail where she started back Weight Watchers. There's like all this stuff the same day where I was like, I think I need to start back. And it was just kind of like, you know what, just do it. So that's the goal. Today I am gonna go grocery shopping, but I need to work on a few more recipes. I have my meals planned for breakfast, lunch, and snack for the days I work. And then I already had HelloFresh coming, like I couldn't change the recipes. We will make it work with what we have. I'm going to go ahead and put in the recipes for next week to see where they are point-wise, to see if I want to keep it or if I want to like skip a few weeks. We'll see how that goes on the HelloFresh. I've been loving HelloFresh, so it makes me sad to not have it. But at the same time, I feel like I could make them with my own food for less points. But I still need some like lunch options mainly for the days I don't work, and I also need a couple more dinner options because I only got 4 dinners this week from HelloFresh. So my mom's coming into town, and you know, I just got some planning to do. So that's what I'm gonna go do now. But that's what today is, a meal prep for Weight Watchers for work. Most weeks you'll probably get 1 video a week since I am working about 32 hours a week. And these videos, they take a lot of time, y'all. Getting angles and editing really takes the most time. And I just have to have the energy to do it. So probably 1 video a week on Saturdays, but from time to time, there will be a video on Wednesdays too, just depending. Maybe it'll be like a what I eat in a day when I don't work, because you already know what I eat whenever I do the meal prepping. So that's the plan moving forward with the channel. So let's see what we decided to meal prep this week. I am ready to meal prep. I went to the grocery store yesterday. Today is July 4th, so happy birthday, America. Today we're gonna be meal prepping our breakfast and lunch, and I'm going to be going ahead and prepping some fruit too, because that's gonna be my snack along with cottage cheese while I'm at work. All of this is stuff for while I'm at work because I need it to be quick and easy, already packaged up, so that morning I can throw everything in my lunchbox and head out the door. I'm working 4 days a week right now, which is 32 hours. So I want to use the time when I'm off wisely so I can make good choices while I'm there. Be nice and satisfied, not be hungry while I'm at work, have the energy to go and do. My favorite thing for breakfast right now is hard-boiled eggs. It's my favorite way to eat eggs. I just think it tastes better, and I don't have to cook them every single morning. I think expecting someone to cook first thing in the morning, honestly, it's just rude. Like, I just woke up. I don't want to be dirtying dishes. No, it's not happening. So the fact that I can do it all at one time and then be good for the whole week, yes, please. So I'm gonna make extra because my mom is coming and my husband likes them as well. So I'm going to do maybe like 16, 18 hard-boiled eggs. I'm also going to be making like a blueberry Kodiak muffins. They're 1 point each. Hard-boiled eggs are obviously 0 point each. So you can have 1 or 2. It's basically a blueberry Kodiak pancake, but in a muffin form. We're using Kodiak pancake mix as the flour, which is going to be higher in protein. It's going to be higher in fiber. It's going to have some good protein with those eggs. So this is going to keep you satisfied and happy and full until you can eat again. So that is the plan for breakfast. Muffin, I don't know if I'm gonna have 1 or 2. I think I'm gonna have 1 the first day, see how my hunger levels are at work. If I get hungry before I can have my snack, the next day I'll have 2. I'll put it on the screen how many 2 are. I don't know if it jumps up to 3 points or if it's still 2 points for 2. And then for lunch, I'm gonna have soup. I do realize it's 106 here in Texas, and that might seem like a crazy choice, but I work in a freezer. I mean, a refrigerator. It's 35 degrees in the refrigerator I work. So coming out 35 degrees to have a nice hot bowl of soup, it works for me. I've made this recipe before on the channel, but I was not on Weight Watchers at the time. So I will remake that here to show you. I am using a combination of beef and turkey. Feel free to substitute all of it for turkey to have even a lower point. So this soup makes 5 servings and it's 5 points each. And if you want to add avocado, you'll just need to add the avocado separately because I don't know how much avocado you want to add to yours. I'm going to be adding about 1/3 of an avocado to each portion of mine. I will weigh that out in grams and add that separately. That way I'm not robbing myself of points I don't use, basically. So hamburger soup recipes are all in the description box below. And then for my snacks, I'm gonna have cottage cheese and fruit, not together. I think that's weird. I don't like that. I don't like to eat fruit with my cottage cheese. I like my cottage cheese. And then my phone's yelling at me that I'm out of storage, so I just deleted a bunch of stuff. But we don't have time to gab. So let's get into these recipes so that you can see them, because you don't need to hear me talk anymore. So I'm doing all of this in a particular order because I don't want to spend my entire day off in the kitchen, as I'm sure you don't either. So what I'm doing is I'm preheating the oven right now to 350 for my muffins. While that is preheating, I'm going to go ahead and get my eggs on the stove so they can start coming up to a boil. While those are coming up to a boil and our oven's preheating, we're going to go ahead and make the batter for our muffins and get those ready to go. Hopefully by the time we are done with that batter and getting it all portioned out in our muffin tins, the oven will be preheated. We'll bake those for 15 to 18 minutes. Our eggs should be pretty close to being done. We'll throw those in an ice bath while we prep all the veggies for our soup. See, we're going streamline here on events so that we can get it done quickly. Let's get this batter made. We're gonna add our Kodiak cake mix to a bowl. This is 1.5 cups. I'm just using the original buttermilk Kodiak power cake mix, but use whatever kind you like. We're gonna add an egg, as well as some baking powder. This is 1 teaspoon. I'm gonna add half a teaspoon of cinnamon and vanilla. That's optional, you don't have to do that. I'm gonna add this monk fruit sweetener. This is my favorite. This is the golden. It's like raw sugar cane, so it has a little bit more depth of flavor than the regular, but use whatever kind you like, whether it's stevia or whatever. I'm gonna add unsweetened applesauce to this. This is just my store brands of applesauce, as well as half a cup of water. So give this a good mix, and then we're gonna fold in our blueberries and mix it again, and then we're gonna put this to the side. Now we need to spray our muffin tin. I'm just using a coconut oil spray. You can also use muffin liners if you'd rather do that. Now we're gonna fill them up, trying to get them all about evenly. You might have to spoon it out from here and there, just like I did. Then we're gonna bake this for about 15 minutes. Once our eggs are coming to a rolling boil, mine was not quite a rolling boil, so I had soft boiled eggs. If you want hard boiled eggs, make sure that water is really boiling. And as soon as it comes to a boil, put on the lid, take it off the heat, and let it sit for 17 minutes. That gave our muffins plenty of time to bake. Here they are. I think they're really good. My mom was like, they're okay. I let the eggs cool in an ice bath for about 5 minutes. Actually, I say 5 minutes. Normally it's 5 minutes. I just let them sit there until I was ready after prepping all these veggies. In the same pot I did my eggs, I have a tablespoon of avocado oil heating up. I'm going to need 2 cups of Yukon Gold potato, 1 cup of onion, 1 cup of carrot, 1 cup of celery, 1 cup of green beans, and then 3 cloves of garlic, but I'm going to be lazy and use the jarred stuff today. So let's go ahead and get our onion cut up. Because this needs to cook first, so I want to prep this first so this can be cooking while I'm doing the rest of it. Because like I said, no one wants to be in the kitchen all day on their day off. Heck no. Go pop that in the oil while you're cutting up the rest of your stuff. Now I only needed a cup. Normally that is about 3 small carrots, but these carrots were pretty large, so I actually got a little over a cup, but I'm not complaining about extra veggies. Just means it's going to be an extra hearty soup. So I did about 1.5 cups of carrots. I need about 3 celery stalks. Make sure all your produce is washed, by the way. I think that's like, I don't think I need to say that, but I'm going to say it just in case. We're going to give this a good chop. I was a little under on celery, but I don't like celery that much, so I was okay with being under. And then 1 cup of green beans. I'll use the rest of those green beans for dinners throughout the week, or snacks, whatever the heck you want. And then I really wasn't sure how many potatoes I would need for 2 cups of potatoes. We're just gonna cut this into bite-sized chunks. And it turns out that 1 potato was enough, so I get to save the other guys for later in the week as well. Our onions are already cooked, so I'm gonna use a good spoonful of the diced garlic. Give it a little stir. I like to add this just at the end so the garlic doesn't burn and get bitter. When you cook them together from the start, sometimes your garlic can burn, which is not fun. Now we're going to go ahead and add our ground meat. That's 1 pound of ground beef, 1/2 pound of turkey. But like I said, feel free to go all turkey here or do the reverse where it's a pound of turkey and half a pound of ground beef. I like the way the ground beef adds the extra flavor. You're going to cook that all the way through and brown it. Then we're going to add the rest of our ingredients, which are fire roasted tomatoes. You need tomato paste, but I forgot to add it. We're going to put all of our veggies in here, as well as all of our seasonings, which are 2 tablespoons of Italian seasoning, 1 teaspoon of paprika, 1 teaspoon of salt, half a teaspoon of pepper, half a teaspoon of onion powder, half a teaspoon of cumin, and half a teaspoon of garlic. Whew, that was a lot. Now we're going to add a whole carton of beef broth. And then again, please don't forget the tomato paste because it does add a little something. I did miss it. Now that we got this all very carefully stirred up, we're going to add 2 bay leaves and just kind of poke them underneath so they are submerged in water. Then we're going to let this come up to a boil and then cook it for about 25 minutes or until all of your veggies are fork tender. I tested every veggie except the celery, and my celery is a little crunchy, I'm not going to lie. So maybe do it for 30 minutes. While that is simmering away, I'm going to get all the shells off my eggs. But these eggs were being very, very stubborn. So I thought I'd just show you here how you can use a spoon to help get the shell off because they did not want to come off. Since they were soft-boiled instead of hard-boiled, the egg whites were really a little bit softer. So if you crack the top and the bottom and then each side going up, then you can get the spoon underneath those cracked places and it comes off pretty easily. Now we're going to make sure we wash all of our produce. So I like to put mine with water that has a splash of white vinegar in it. And make sure you give a scrub because those do get sprayed down with stuff. So you don't want to cut into it. And then once the knife cuts out through the outer part, obviously it's going to go through the meat of your fruit. So make sure you get it nice and clean. Then I'm just going to cut this in half, scoop it out, and then cut little half moons, little crescent moons. And then use each of those little half moons to be chopped down into smaller pieces. Sometimes I like just leave them in these little half moons, and sometimes I cut them down. My family likes them cut down. And it's, oh God, hernia. Okay, we're good. I'm gonna make little fruit bowls. So I'm adding half of my mason jar with cantaloupe. And then I'm gonna finish cutting the cantaloupe. Now I'll have rest for the week. And then I'm gonna move on to my pineapple. I don't know what it is lately, but I cannot get enough pineapple and strawberry. I'm obsessed. So we're going to cut the top and bottom off so we have some flat surfaces. We're going to cut the skin all off. If you've left any little pieces, just go ahead and cut those now while it's easier. And then you see that core in the middle? We're going to cut right around that core and then toss that. Now we're going to just cut these little segments into long strips and then again to cut them into chunks. And this is how we cut them at work, just in case you were wondering. Then I'm going to top my cantaloupe with the pineapple. But I'm not gonna lie, towards the end of the week, it was all pineapple because it tasted so dang good. Now I have leftovers for the week. Now I'm gonna make my cottage cheese. I'm not gonna make cottage cheese. I'm gonna put my cottage cheese in containers. Can you imagine if I made cottage cheese? I don't even know how that would happen. All right, I'm just gonna add about a half a cup into each little cup. And then so I have my snack for each day is 1 mason jar of fruit and 1 little container of cottage cheese. So here's my breakfast. We have muffins and hard-boiled eggs. I go back and forth between eating 1 or 2 of either one of these things. Now I'm going to finish up my soup now that it's had time to chill. I'm going to add avocado. I'm going to use 2 avocados for all 5 servings. So I'm going to take out the pit, dice it, slice it, however you want to cut it, and then spoon it out. I'm going to spoon it out into a large bowl while I'm weighing it. I'm weighing out the total amount and then dividing that amount by 5, and just that's how many grams I'm putting in. It ended up being 2 points worth of avocado per soup. So my lunch is 7 points because 5 points for the soup, 2 points for the avocado. Once you get that avocado in there, make sure to submerge it into the broth, and that way it won't turn brown. Just a little hint for you there. Now we're going to add our lids and just relax because, baby, you're done. Now you have food for all of your work days. Smile of accomplishment. Thanks so much for watching, y'all. I hope that this was really helpful for y'all to see the points, the recipe links for WW art down below, as well as the written out recipe. And I'm really happy about this choice. Yesterday was my first day back on WW, and it took me a minute. I had to really think about what I used to eat. I went and watched a couple of my old What I Eat in a Days and I'm like, why did I stop eating the applesauce? I like applesauce. Why did I just stop that when I stopped Weight Watchers? It's kind of one of those weird things. So I actually was really satisfied yesterday with the amount of food I ate. I picked a bunch of 0-point foods. So I'll definitely share a What I Eat in a Day soon. Hopefully I can get that out Wednesday, but again, no promises for more than one video a week. All right, again, I gotta stop talking. I hope you have a great week. See you later.